one of the ways in which you can improve your trading dramatically is by continuously studying stocks which in your time frame make a big move. So if you are study if you are say trading a time frame of intraday, or if you are a day traders, then if you look at all the stocks or the stocks which made the top 5 or 10 stocks which made the biggest move for the day, or up or down, and then study them, then you can immediately have a feedback loop, and as a result of that you can improve your trading. So similarly, the kind of time frame which I trade is swing trades and a longer magnitude, like larger magnitude trades, which are basically trades where I'm looking for um, 8 to 20% move in 3 to 5 days. That's one kind of a trade. There is another kind of a trade which is a larger magnitude where I'm looking for 40, 50, 100% in one trade. So in order to understand the nature of these moves, what I do is I do a daily study. Means this daily study is in addition to a detailed study which I have done over multiple years of these kind of stocks which make these explosive moves. And this daily study which I do of stocks which have gone up 20% in the last 1 week, and stocks which have gone up 50% in the last 40 days, is basically helps to immediately understand in this current market conditions which stocks are making big moves, and then what are the buy points on them, what are the kind of stocks which are likely to make these kind of moves in the next 3 to 5 days. And also it shows you continuous improvement loop. So if I do a study like this, and if I see something, I can immediately implement it immediately the next day into my trading. So there are studies which I run every day, and this is a daily process which I do, where I spend around half an hour going through these stocks and studying them in detail. And those stocks, those are two types of studies. One kind of a study is stocks which are up 20% or down 20% in the last 5 days. So this is primarily my focus for swing trading, because I primarily look for swings. I don't do day trading. I'm looking for swing trades, and I hold typical holding period for my swings is 3 to 5 days. And if it works, then you get like an 8 to 20% in that move. So I want to study stocks which make 20% move. So let's look at this study in TC 2000, and when you look at it in TC 2000, you'll get a better idea as to what to look for and how you can incorporate these kind of studies into your daily practice. And once you incorporate it into a daily practice, what happens is you can quickly start improving your trading. So this is a study where I am looking for a stock which is up 20% plus in last 5 days. So it's basically looking for a stock which is up 20%, which has a minimum liquidity of 100,000, and the price is about $5, because I don't trade very low price stocks. So when you look at this today, you have 38 stocks which are up 20% plus in the last 1 week. Or it tells you that there were 38 possible opportunities to make money in the last 5 days. So then the question becomes, what kind of scan would catch these? Where will these setups come from? What kind of setups were they? And is your process designed to find these kind of stocks? So for that, this is one part of the study. The other part of the study is to look at something which is down 20% plus in the same time period, because there is a long side and there is a short side of this equation. And this is not the only thing which I am looking at. I'm also basically, one of the things is that in the market there are different types of opportunities. One kind of an opportunity is to look for a stock which is lower priced and which makes 20% move. There is another kind of opportunity in the market which is in the high price stocks. High price stocks typically do not make those kind of moves of 20% in 3 to 5 days, but at the same time they can make moves which can be very profitable, and percentage terms those moves may not be very high. Let me show you an example of a move like this on two of the stocks which had very good trades last month, and one of them was AutoZone, right? See AutoZone here, and this was a 1.45% breakout, right? And basically this was like a continuation breakout kind of a thing, and it made around $150 more. Similarly, you had a stock called O'Reilly, and O'Reilly had a breakout here, and from this breakout, it made around $40 move. So in terms of risk, with a $8 kind of a risk, there was an opportunity to make $30 to $40 kind of a thing. Similarly, you will see in high price stocks, these kind of swings are very common, where you get a swing of 3 to 5 days or more, and where the stock makes $60 to $70 moves, right? So this is the second kind of an opportunity which I want to focus on. So as a result of this, in addition to this 20%, I also look for stocks which are up or down $20 in 5 day period. So this is just looking at an absolute dollar move of $20. Similarly, I'm looking for stocks which are down $20 in just a period of this is like in a percentage, but like the bearish on the dollar bearish is so here you will see that looking for a stock which is down 20%, $20 plus in last 5 days. And when you look at this and when you study this, you can see what works in the market. So if you look at this study 20%, these are the stocks which made 20% move in the last 5 days. What you are going to see is that these are stocks typically which had some sort of a news catalyst, right? News catalyst leads to big moves. Top is one of the stocks which made one of the biggest moves here, and it's one of the Chinese stocks. But here, SMCI is a good example of a stock which had a news yesterday, and as a result of that news, it had a big move of around 28%. Or Prothera, again, Prothera had a news yesterday. So news is very important once you understand. Look, short-term moves are driven by news, and that's why uh, I have a setup called stocks in play or SIP, which is basically stocks which have fresh news, because fresh news attracts fresh set of buyers. And if you go back and see, many of these stocks had news, like Generac had a news yesterday, earnings news, and as a result, intraday basis, like and it went up so much, right? Or QTRX, or like this is the kind of a stock where there was no immediate news, but it was a nice breakout setup basically. Or here again, like you had a stock which had a very nice breakout, and in 3 days from the breakout day, it is up 3 days, 20%. Now see here, like, and if you see, I'm not taking the first day's gain into consideration at all. From the first day's gain, if you look at it, second day it made 4% move and 9%, so that's around 13% in 3 days, right? And basically, or this is a breakout which happened yesterday. So these are the kind of moves. Once you study, you'll realize that when stocks make a move, they move in this burst of momentum of 3 to 5 days. Uber started breaking out in anticipation of earnings, and post earnings, it has made a big move. So commercial vehicle group. Again, when you do this study, you're clearly going to find that news is very important for short-term moves. And one of the reasons why commercial vehicle group or CVGI was up was because of news. And so on and so forth. And then once you understand this, you know which kind of a news is likely to lead to what kind of a move. In this case of Atomera, there was a news on this particular day that it has tied up with one of the semiconductor kind of companies, and as a result of that, the stock made a move of around 46% in last 3 or 4 days. So paying attention to news is a profitable strategy once you understand what kind of news leads to big moves. So AVDL, this is just a drug company. Currently, as you can see from this very clearly, that what is working is biotechnology companies are working. Anything with a catalyst is working, even though the market overall is not a very good market in terms of follow through, but specific stocks with a catalyst. In this case of Ananox, again, there was a catalyst where there was a FDA clearance, and as a result of this FDA clearance, you had this stock going up, right? And basically, and it might have more upside also. So similarly, the stock had some news yesterday, right? And basically, in this case, again, whenever I see a big move, I always investigate to find what is the reason. And there was a buyout rumor on this particular stock. As a result of this buyout rumor, the stock is up this much in 2 days. So like this, once you do this study, you will also understand what are a good buy points for a stock. In this particular case, the buy points are where you had a breakouts, right? And you had a long breakouts. And especially when you do this kind of a study, you're going to realize that there are certain kind of stocks which are very good for trading, like biotechnology stocks. They tend to have very good follow through for 3 to 5 days. Biotechnology stocks react very positively or negatively to news catalysts. Similarly, you'll find that technology stocks are very good for swing trading because technology stocks have the tendency to attract a lot of buyers. Uh, the other thing which you're going to realize is that for short term swings, news is a very good catalyst. If there is a fresh news and if the stock starts breaking, it attracts more buyers, and buyers are attracted to fresh news. So, tracking news can be one of the ways in which you can develop a setup where you're looking for news early in the morning of stocks which had some news about like tie-ups, new tie-ups, or earnings news. It's not. It doesn't have to be earnings news. And also the other thing which you will realize when you do this kind of a study is that there is a theme always. Like currently, there's a clear theme, and that clear theme is medical and biotechnology stocks. Couple of days ago, there was a clear theme which was an artificial intelligence or AI. So anything which had AI in its name was making a big move. So understanding themes, understanding news gives you an edge over just chart reading kind of a thing which a lot of people do. But it's not a setup for everybody because a lot of people are very uncomfortable doing anything which involves news or anything which requires interpretation, analysis of news, or they think it's too much effort. So obviously, in the market, there are different kinds of people who are looking for different ways of making money. But if you objectively study the 20% move, you are going to come to a conclusion that those moves are primarily news driven or they are driven by some sort of a momentum burst. Now, the other thing is like if you look at this same thing on the chart side, is what you'll see is that a lot of stocks have been breaking down. Lot of stocks, and there are a lot of these grab downs which are happening because what you are looking at is stocks missing earnings, gapping down. Many of these will become good candidate for a delayed reaction, or these are negative, or these are bearish episodic pivot because these companies, some of these missed earnings big time, and they are gapping down, and then they will have a follow through. So this also tells you where those things are happening. Like CHGG had a very bad earnings, but then they tend to bounce back after those earnings, and then later after multiple days, sometimes 2 or 3 days or 4 days, or sometimes after weeks, they start going down. And as you can see, that more and more stocks are breaking down here after earnings, which tells you that what is the theme in the earning season, because every earning season has a theme. If you see in this earning season, there has been barely any good positive earning surprise kind of moves which have happened, but there are many negative surprise kind of moves which have happened. And as a result of those negative surprise, a lot of stocks are gapping down. And that tells you that the earning season has been not been really the one where you had these real EPs so far, or there is not even one single EP which has shown up so far in this earning season. So this is what you can see by going through this particular thing. This is where you can like in a net, again, like this is one of the stocks where there is an EP to the bearish side where the stock had a big volume drop and it missed earnings badly. So more downside is possible. Obviously on the short side, how much money you can make on the short side is always limited. So similarly, you can do this study on dollar side, and you will see that there are some high price stocks which make these moves. Like Eli Lilly is a good example of a stock which has been going up based on the weight loss drug, and you have some like in a Chipotle Mexican Grill which after earnings is up, but not many tradable kind of a moves in this. This again after earnings news, something like an happen like some news, and here you have like an a Biogen. Again, biotechnology is the theme currently, and if you know what is the theme, O'Reilly, it's much easier to make money because certain themes work very well. Even the building material stocks, not only this stock, like other stock like this, have been making big moves, right? And so there is that theme which you can figure out. Now, once you start doing study like this, and if you expand this study to a bigger moves, 50%, there are observations, there are like things which you are going to learn. These are stocks which are up 50% in the last 40 days. So these are bigger magnitude moves, big moves like Coco, Vito Coco is almost doubled. So you want to study why these moves have happened. Now, this kind of an approach is basically using historical analysis to understand market moves and using that analysis to find moves in the present market. Now, if you do a study like this, what it does is it gives you an immediate feedback, because if somebody is saying that there are no big moves happening or there is no this thing in the market, then you can see that there has been big moves happening in the market. There are like 90 stocks which are up 50% plus, while the number of stocks which are down is much less than 90. Or in this year, there are like stocks which made a big move. So as a result of these kind of studies, you develop a deep understanding of moves, and then that allows you to get into trades based on something which is working in the current market. Now, this is a daily process, and if you don't have time to do it daily, you can also do it weekly. On weekend, I spend some time going through stocks which are up 300% plus for the year, or stocks which are up significantly, the top 25 stocks by year to date. Now, this kind of approach is for traders who are serious about understanding market, understanding setups, creating new setups, and not really dependent on just ready-made solutions to trading. Because if you do original work and if you do original creative work of analyzing what happens in the market, you're going to discover a lot of things which are talked about in books, and a lot of things which are commonly said by people are not necessarily true. And you're going to find unique setups, you're going to find unique ideas which can make your trading very easy, or gives you a lucrative way to find trading ideas which nobody else has thought about.